You're watching Hexus TV, and this is the second edition of the Break Something and then Give It Away as a Competition Prize show. Now we're carrying on with our testing of the ADATA SH93. In the last show we went through this massive wad of documents here, which is Military Standard 810F, which is what ADATA say this driver has been tested to. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to do the drop testing for this, and what we're going to do is we've already preloaded this. We don't need that, and we don't need that. And we don't need that, and we don't need that either. Okay, so there's the drive itself. It's the ruggedized hard drive, so it's got this rubberized coating around the outside, and then there's a little USB cable which clips in around the edge. And then to actually access the drive, you undo that plug there, and you shove in the mini USB end of the cable that's supplied, so we'll pop that in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to my laptop to make sure that we know that there's data on here. So this has been preloaded by us, so we have already had it out of the packet. Let's just shove that in there, and let's just see, yep, there you go. So we've got a blue light there, so we know that the drive's actually spinning up. Little blue light on there, and it says installing device driver software. It's ready to go, so it should now show up in the My Computer bit. It's still chugging away there. Come on, there we are, and here we go. So let's open the folder and view the files. What have we got in the way of the pictures? It's Ginger Spice showing our knickers off. Right, okay, there we go. Right, so we've got loads of pictures, copies of that. There we go. So there's lots of data on the drive. Now we're just going to unplug it. There we are, and that should shut the drive down. Now, ADATA say that when we come to do our waterproofing testing, that the drive is only waterproof when you've got this little plug in there, which is fair enough, because otherwise you're just going to have stuff going straight in. So first off, though, before we do any of that, we're going to do the drop testing. So let's just put this back on here. There we go. So that's the cable all mounted back up on the drive. Just click back in. And according to Military Standard 810F, the drive should be able to survive a fall of between 24 and 48 inches. So I have my trusty home-based tape measure here, and let's see, 24 inches is, there we go, so that's 2 feet, there we are. So to the bottom of the tape measure there, that's 2 feet. So this first test, we're going to do it onto a hard surface as well, just to be really rugged. There we are, so we all agree that's 24 inches, Stefan? Yeah, do you want to see that side of the tape measure there? Do you want to get that there, it's on 24 inches? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to drop it from 24 inches. Ready? Ready? Yeah, I'm really worried in case it doesn't work. In case it doesn't work. In case it doesn't work. Okay, so now what we need to do is test the drive to see if it's still working. So we take it all apart again. We're being really proper with this. Get that out of there. Plug this in here. You could do one of those little speed up sort of like, you know, bits with funny music here for this bit if you want, Stefan. It really doesn't matter to me. Right, plug that back in. Blue light's on. Please work. Oh, yep, something's showing. What's it going to do? Is it going to do anything? Drive's reading. There we are, it's working. There we go. So open folder to view files. There we go. And there's our video again. And let's start up the Charlie Chaplin one. And there it's playing again. Okay, right, so that's all working. Right, so it survived a 24-inch fall. Now, the big question is, can it survive a 48-inch fall? We could go all the way in between, or we could do several drops. What do you want to do? Do you want to do several drops? Do you just want to do one drop? Do you want to do several drops? Yeah, and then test it at the end of doing several drops. Okay, right, so shall we try the 48-inch test now? Yeah? So 48 inches, mark this off on the tape measure here. There we go, that's 48 inches, 4 feet. There we are, okay, that's 4 feet. Which is roughly chest height. So say I was going to put it in a pocket and I missed and it fell on the floor. Yeah, that would be what you'd be doing. Okay, so we're going to go onto the table again, onto the hard surface. Here we are, here's the drive. Ready? Happy? Okay, let's go. Oh, that took a bit of a pounding that time. Now, shall we do another drop onto a corner, or do you just want to just go test this one as it is? What do you want to do? You want to do a drop onto a corner? Okay, I'm just going to put that back on there. So let's do simulate onto the carpet, or simulate me going to put it in a pocket from 48 inches. So going on my inside pocket and I miss. Yeah, and I go, oh dear, I've dropped my drive on the floor. All right. So that went onto a corner. So shall we try another one a bit harder onto a corner? So let's try onto here, onto a corner. Yeah? Ready? Going on a corner. Happy? Yeah? Okay, here we go. Onto a corner. That went a bit flat. There we go. So that's 3 drops now. 3 drops. Now, do you think it's reasonable that a normal hard drive would be suffering some damage from this? Stefan, what do you think? Yes, no? You think that a normal hard drive would be suffering some damage? So let's see if the ruggedization that ADATA put in here actually has worked. And these are just simple drop tests. And I think actually, to be fair, they were fair drop tests. Okay, it's onto a hard surface, but it wasn't from masses of height. Let's plug it in. Get in there. I think I've got to bust the USB cable. It won't go in the slot. I bent the USB socket. Look, I've got to bend the USB. So I'm going to have to bend that out. Ow. There we go. Hang on a second. You don't want to see me chewing a USB cable. Ah, right, okay. That should work now. I can't get it in the hole. I can't get it. Right, okay, I'm going to have to go and get a pair of pliers and see if I can bend that USB socket back. So we're just going to make a quick cut here while I go and get something. Right, so I had to go and get myself a pair of pliers because I've got to bend the USB socket. And let's just see if we can squeeze this back into shape. That way a bit, and it needs to go up here. Oh dear. So we think, well, you know, it will show whether or not the drives actually survive, but the USB socket hasn't. Right, there we are. USB cable. Right, that. I'll be surprised if that works, but let's give it a go anyway. Go on, get in there. Yes. Oh, and it's showing up as spinning up. I can feel the drive spinning up. We've got the little dudung showing that device manager has seen something. Let's see. Has it survived all those drops? The USB-B cable didn't, or the USB cable even didn't. Yes, here we go. So the USB cable has survived. It's just the actual socket. I bent the shroud of the socket because here we go. It's transferring the data across. And do we get Charlie Chaplin? Yes, we do. There we go. So that is working. So there we are. The ADATA SH93 can survive being dropped onto its corners multiple times from a height of between 24 and 48 inches. The next thing though is to test the waterproofing, which is something I'm really looking forward to. So check back soon on Hex's TV for the next edition of Break Something and Give It Away as a Competition Prize show, when we're going to be plunging this thing into a variety of disgusting liquids.